everybody, it's foofootoo here, and today I'm doing a video all about the move Brutal Swing. This move is kind of weird. It was randomly introduced in Pokemon Sun and Moon, and I say randomly because it's a base 60 power physical dark type move. And we already have a number of physical dark type moves, and base 60 power is not very strong compared to things like the base 80 power Crunch, the knockoff move, which gets a boost in damage if the opponent's holding an item that becomes much more powerful than Brutal Swing. And then we've even got the new moves like Throat Chop, that's base 80 power, there's Darkest Lariat, that's base 85 power. So what does Brutal Swing bring to the table? Well, I'll be going over that in this video. First off, a consideration to make is that it is Technician boosted. That means that the ability Technician boosts this move's damage by half, so it becomes a base 90 power move, which is more powerful than a lot of the moves I've just listed. And so something like Scizor could take advantage of this. Scizor or Mega Scizor could use Brutal Swing as a powerful dark type coverage move. How useful is this? Well, they already get access to Knockoff, which, as I said before, gets a boost in damage if the opponent's holding an item to become base 97.5 power. But if you're concerned about not having that consistent damage output, if the opponent doesn't have an item or if they have a Mega Stone, for example, you're going to be doing less damage than that. You're going to be doing base 65 damage. So if you want consistent damage, Brutal Swing is an option. But there's already an option that is pretty much identical, which is Thief. That's a base 60 power dark type move too. But the thing there is Thief actually has 25 PP. There's very little to decide which move to run out of these two, but if you really are pushed for a reason, then the PP may well be the thing that decides that. So really, I would say go with Thief over Brutal Swing in this instance. However, there is something that I've not mentioned yet, and this is the most important thing. The niche that Brutal Swing actually fills is that it is a spread damage move, and we don't have spread damage physical dark type moves at the moment. So that is what Brutal Swing brings to the table. Now you have to bear in mind that a spread damage move in doubles battles, it means it hits multiple targets, but moves that hit multiple targets actually have their damage reduced to 75%. So though it says 60 base power, if you're hitting multiple Pokemon, it's actually 45 base power, which is really low. You do get the Technician boost with Scizor though, so it's still an option for Scizor to run there. It's quite a niche thing to consider, and Scizor normally struggles finding move slots in doubles, but that is something to consider running on Scizor. But I wanted a more viable strategy for using this move, so I tried some weirder things. I thought about maybe using it to activate your own Pokemon's Justified ability, because it's a weak dark type move, so you're not going to be doing too much damage to your own Pokemon. You can activate their Justified, get an attack boost, and also still damage the opponent, so you might be able to break Focus Sash, for example. You're not going to be doing too much damage to them though. So that's one use of it. Apart from, if you want to try that strategy, you may as well just run the more conventional gimmick of Beat Up Justified. A lot of people know about this, but you can get +4 attack in one turn, rather than doing Brutal Swing when you're not gaining much more, and you gain less attack. So I would say stick with Beat Up for that. I also tried other things like maybe activating your own weak armor or your own weakness policy. Those are things that you could definitely consider. They could be quite interesting, but I'm not sure if that gimmick is really as useful. You could just have a weak support Pokemon doing that for you instead of having Brutal Swing. There's no reason to run Brutal Swing over other moves. And then I also even thought about maybe trying to activate Turtonator's Shell Trap on your own Pokemon that has Flash Fire, but there are no Pokemon that learn Brutal Swing and have Flash Fire. Houndoom, you had one job. Why couldn't you learn Brutal Swing? So that would have been a cool thing to do, a very gimmicky strategy, but I don't know, could have had some merit. Brutal Swing has one more niche. Not only is it the only dark type spread damage move, it's the only contact spread damage move. We've got things like Earthquake and Rock Slide that are spread damage moves that are physical, but they don't make contact. And that does mean that there is a strategy we can try, which is Brutal Swing with King's Shield. King's Shield, if you make contact, you get -2 attack, but there is one Pokemon that actually can turn that on its head, and that is Malamar with a contrary ability, which actually gets +2 attack when it makes contact with King's Shield. So if you have an Aegislash and a Malamar, you are able to boost Malamar's damage output in a doubles battle by going for Brutal Swing while still attacking the opponents. And what's really neat is the attack boost comes before the damage is dealt on the opponents, which means that they get more damage dealt to them in the same turn. That's pretty cool. I really like this idea. Malamar's a pretty neat Pokemon in doubles battles actually, because you see a lot of Intimidate users, which instead of dropping Malamar's attack, boost its attack. So Malamar can be a bit of a threat in doubles. Is it really that viable though? Well, I've spent a lot of time trying this strategy out, and it's actually really hard to make it work. Malamar's stats aren't amazing. There are lots of Fairy-type Pokemon and actually quite a lot of U-turners out there, so it needs a lot of support in order to make this work. But maybe it's worth a try. It's the only real niche I could see for Brutal Swing, and it's a kind of a cool one. If you can get it to work, it feels really good, but it takes a lot of effort and team building to try to make that work. So my advice after all of this, is Brutal Swing worth using? Well, in the in-game it can be pretty cool. I used a Z-Splash Lopunny for a lot of the game because it got really good coverage and return high jump kick and Brutal Swing. But aside from in-game, I would say unless you want a really situational Scizor set or you want to try some really hardcore Malamar doubles gimmicks, I would stay away from Brutal Swing. That's going to be all for today. I hope you learned something. I hope you found this video interesting. If you do like my videos, then you could consider pressing the bell notification button. I don't upload that frequently. I don't upload regularly at the same time. So just to make sure that you don't miss an upload, consider ringing that bell and you will get all of my content straight away. So that will be fantastic. But that's going to be all for today. I've been foofootoo, you've been awesome, and hopefully see you next time. Goodbye.